Working on board teaches you to adapt fast and keep walking, even when your shoes can't. Today is day 100 as I've been working on the cruise ship Costa Smeralda as a hospitality operator or simply receptionist, and you can see that I work a lot and really hard from my working shoes that actually died. So today in the afternoon during my break, I decided to go out and look for new shoes in some shopping center. By the way, today we are docked in the port of Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. I went out with my friend. Today we had around 760 embarking guests, and while passing through the cruise terminal, we saw a big crowd of people waiting to check in. When we went outside of the terminal, we met 3 of our colleagues from the ship. They offered to share a taxi to the city to make it more economical. Our first stop was the shopping mall Gladilina. When we arrived, we split up. Our colleagues went for lunch, and my friend and I went to look for new shoes. We didn't have much time to sit and eat anyway. That's always a challenge for crew. Little free time, working every day with no days off, so every minute ashore is precious. Still, before starting the shopping, we took a coffee and a snack at Starbucks. As my break isn't long, I didn't have a lunch on board. I went out right after finishing the morning part of my shift. Then we started checking shoe stores in the mall, but surprisingly there were not many. And from what I saw, nothing really caught my eye or matched my uniform. So we decided to go to another shopping center, Abu Dhabi Mall. It wasn't too far, and we decided to walk. It was nice to get some fresh air and see a bit of the city. Abu Dhabi is very modern. It's full of tall glass buildings, and they are still building more, expanding the city even further. We crossed the river by bridge, walking along wide, empty roads. There were hardly any cars around, and very few people walking. It felt peaceful, a quiet break from the busy work on board. We arrived at Abu Dhabi Mall, one of the city's most popular shopping centers.
Shoes.
I went to several shoe stores, checking what they had, but unfortunately I couldn't find what I wanted. I was hoping to find something similar to my old shoes, simple and comfortable for work, but there was nothing close. And I didn't want to buy something just for the sake of buying. So, no luck this time. After that, it was already time to go back to the ship, because I had to continue my shift in the afternoon. We took a taxi from the shopping mall back to the port and returned on board. When I came back on board, I was very hungry, but I totally forgot that the crew mess actually has its working hours, that it's not open all the time. It's closed from 4 to 6 p.m. I mean, technically it's open, but there is no food and the workers are cleaning the area. But one chef was very kind and brought me some food from the kitchen. Then I went to the interview for a position in shops because I want to change my department. I had an appointment with HR director and the sales director in HR's office, but when I arrived there was nobody there. I waited a bit, reading information on the boards around. Then I called the HR, he didn't pick up the phone. Then I reached the sales director Carla, and she told me that the HR director is busy with the ongoing ship's inspection, so we can reschedule our meeting for some time later. We agreed that I would come to her office after I finish my shift tonight. So in the end, I had an interview with the sales director and the shop manager. They asked me some technical questions about working in the shops, and as I already did one contract in the shops on a cruise ship before, I could answer all of them. They also asked me some general questions of how adaptable I am to working on board, to working in a team. They also asked me what keeps me motivated and so on. I think that in general the interview went quite well. In the end, the sales director said that they would send an email about the interview to the shore office and that now I will need to wait for information from the shore side. She said that most likely they would reply within 2 or 3 weeks. Today we are in the port of Dubai. During my break, I went to look for new shoes for work. I came to Marina Mall as it's the closest shopping center to the cruise terminal. And of course, I didn't want to spend too much on a taxi. Unfortunately, there are no free shuttle buses in Abu Dhabi or in Dubai. Finally, I found the shoes that I really liked. I prefer this kind of masculine-looking style, simple, strong and practical. The shoes were a bit expensive, around $90, but the quality looked really good. And since I'm going to wear them every day at work, I think it's worth it. Before going back to the ship, I stopped by the food court and got a big chicken sandwich. This time I remembered that when I return on board, the crew mess will be closed for break. I will start the second part of my shift before the crew mess opens for dinner, and my evening shift will finish at 8:30 p.m. So today I definitely didn't want to stay hungry after my little shoe hunt. Today I want to show you the Dubai cruise terminal from the inside. Actually, there are 2 cruise ports in Dubai, and our ship was docked at the Dubai Harbour Cruise Terminal. Inside, there are several souvenir and duty-free shops, a lot of comfortable seating areas for guests and crew, and also ATMs and currency exchange counters. You'll always find some people from the ship here, both guests and crew, sitting around and using the free Wi-Fi. The ship's internet is quite expensive, so not everybody buys an internet package on board. Most of us prefer to use internet when we are in ports. It's very well organized and feels more like an airport than a port. At the terminal entrance, there is a stand with a Costa Tours representative, offering different excursions to guests when they go ashore. When it's time to return on board, we go through a passenger boarding bridge, similar to the ones used at airports, connecting the terminal directly to the ship. But this one is longer than the airplane sleeves. By the way, today my manager called me and asked me to wear the Russian flag again, so that the guests can see that I speak the Russian language. I was like, okay, it was you who asked me to remove the flag because of the political situation, but for me it's okay. So the Russian flag is back on my uniform. And also a new girl from Kazakhstan joined our department. In Dubai season, there are a lot of guests from Kazakhstan and other post-Soviet countries. Usually they do not speak any foreign languages, but they know Russian. So everyone who speaks the Russian language is very valuable here. And before, I was the only person on board the ship from Kazakhstan, but now we are 3. Mayra at reception and also Adil, a photographer, also from my country. The next day we were again in Dubai. Every week our ship stays here for 3 days in a row. We have 2 overnights in the city. I went out to the open deck for a while to watch the yachts passing by. There were so many of them. Then I walked to the other side of the ship, the one facing the cruise terminal. From there you get an amazing view of the city skyline, full of modern skyscrapers. There were also some of our deck crew working nearby, painting parts of the ship. They usually do this kind of maintenance when we are docked in ports. Many crew members were sitting around using the free Wi-Fi from the terminal. The signal is strong enough to reach even the open decks of the ship. In the evening, I went for dinner around 6 p.m. and that's always a busy time in the crew mess. You can see a crowd of crew members lining up, because the mess is closed from 4 to 6 and as soon as it opens, everyone comes at once. It's also the usual dinner break for many departments. Lately, I've been trying to eat only meat and vegetables and avoid bread, but today I couldn't resist. I took a small piece of pizza. So I guess that's it for today. I hope that you liked this video and I will be very glad to see you in the next one. Bye bye!